Much has been said about sustainability in the past decade. The dialogue has ranged from angry tirades about its economic impact to equally impassioned arguments about the longevity of humanity. However, lost between these two extremes is the true meaning of sustainability for the rest of us. Sustainability cannot just be a button on a bag, nor can it be a watchword for environmentalists, nor an election issue to be bandied about like a tennis ball. Rather, sustainability is and must be the framework in which we view our lives. The issue of sustaining our world's resources, minimizing the impact of humans on the environment, doesn't begin or end with politicians in Sacramento or Washington, or with the titans of industry on Wall Street. Sustainability begins and ends with our actions, our lifestyles, and our mindsets. The earth does not exist to indulge the capriciousness of humankind. As a society, we have a responsibility to sustain the world for the next generation. One does not simply buy a bike and let it rust in the rain. We have been running on a tire with a slow leak for far too long, ignoring our knowledge about the environment and continuing our dependence on fossil fuels and synthetic chemicals, while continuing the destruction of nature's bounties. The framework on how we view the earth and its resources must change. Sustainability cannot be viewed as an abstract political problem. It's more than that. It's a personal choice. It's a choice to act sustainably or not. Much is said about what we are not doing, but there is plenty that we are doing. We might be living sustainably and we don't even know it. Please raise your hand if you do any of the following. Buy music online. Turn off the water when you brush your teeth. Use your own bags at the grocery store. Turn down your thermostat to save energy. Bike to work. Bike to school. Bike to the market. Buy clothes at a used thrift store. Shop at a farmer's market. Use reusable water bottles. Compost. Grow your own garden. Use cold water to wash your clothes. Voted on an environmental issue in an election? Generally speaking, people want to be sustainable. You don't often hear about the person who purposely wants to destroy the environment. The villains in this story do not have mustaches or a malicious laugh. We have far more to fear from ignorance and slothfulness than we do from bad facial hair. The opponents of sustainable practices play upon our ignorance to convince us that we cannot afford it, that the economy isn't ready for it, that livelihoods are dependent upon the old ways. The truth is, we can ill afford not to live sustainably. The economy cannot rest upon a foundation of oil that will evaporate within the next century. While ignorance is dangerous, slothfulness is sinister. Laziness is quite possibly the largest threat to the progress of the sustainability movement. Why? Because we have become complacent with their lifestyles and are unwilling to change. And this is where we come in. As student leaders, we have a unique ability to influence our peers, our parents, our siblings, and our children in a manner that cannot be replicated. The first step in that change is to change our own actions and lead by example. There are plenty of little things that can be made, like little changes that can be made to our lifestyle that are sustainable. Rather than plastering our dorm halls with flyers, we can create more interactive ways of advertising our events. We can turn down the AC in our apartments. We can take public transit. We can purchase more sustainable products with less packaging. We can bring our own bags to the grocery store. We can use energy-efficient light bulbs. We can use non-toxic paints on posters. There are plenty of things we can do, including purchasing environmentally friendly products from companies and countries that care about the environment, that care about sustainability, and care about the future of the world. These actions may not seem like much, but every act counts in the larger picture. Secondly, by living a sustainable life, we show our peers that it is not difficult to make a difference. We empower them to adopt changes by example, and such empowerment will continue to spread from individual into individual until we are all living a more sustainable lifestyle. In reality, this process is far more difficult and complicated than just a 3-step self-help pamphlet. But we have to start somewhere. I have purposely avoided facts and statistics because it is easy to get discouraged. It is easy to become cynical about industry, about government, about the process of transforming our society into a sustainable civilization. A single individual cannot change the world. However, a single individual can change the minds of hundreds of others, and together they can enact change. They can change the world. Sustainability will never come about if we allow ourselves to give in to the lesser angels of our being and become cynical with the process. Will some change be harder than others? Yes. But it is a process that can be done and must be done. The little actions that we do every day add up, and people take note. Just because we have the most direct influence with our everyday actions does not mean we avoid the larger picture. Quite the contrary, we must fight those battles, for the politicians will never take note until we make them take note. Despite what the cynics say, we still live in a democracy. We live in a country in which the agenda is set by the common individual, and one in which the will of the people prevails, despite all odds. Although we live in a world defined by limits, we have one limitless resource: the human spirit. Human ingenuity has no limits, has no boundaries, and is indeed infinite in possibilities. When we are tired, when we are worn, when we are beaten, and when we are battered, we keep on going. We transcend our own conscious limits and are amazed at the results. Opponents of sustainable practices claim that it'll be too difficult to change. They claim our economy is dependent upon anachronistic practices, but they are selling us short. Person by person, dorm hall by dorm hall, university by university, the transformation is already occurring. We see it every time we compost, every time we vote, and every time when we inform someone about sustainable practice, and every time they enact those practices themselves. We are the vanguard of this revolution, and we have the power to influence not only our peers, but the entire world. Because if we don't do it, who will? And if it doesn't happen now, when will it happen?